Hey, comic readers, and welcome to another episode of Off the Rack. I'm Sal.
And I'm Tiffany.
And this is a little different because we're not live,
No.
but we're here. And we're going to talk about the Thor Love and Thunder movie, which you probably went and saw. We're going to give a full spoiler review, and then we're going to recommend comics that are coming out this week that we think you should pick up because we still know it's coming out. And we know that a lot of you rely on what the comics are.
Yes.
So we're happy to provide.
Yes.
Or at the very least, what we think you should check out.
Mhm.
Normally, this is a show where we recap and review the books that came out last week, and then we tell you what we thought about them. So today, we're just going to be talking about Thor: Love and Thunder in full. We're not. It probably won't be as long as the last episode.
No.
So but hey, why not? So, what do you want to talk about first? I mean, we could just run down the characters and just talk about their arcs and stuff. I think that's the way to go. Obviously, Thor himself has a pretty substantive arc, although I don't know if it really the trailers and other characters indicate how he feels and where he's going. He's lonely and he's confused about where he is, and I'm like, that's fair. That's almost emblematic of the Marvel Cinematic Universe, where it's we just had this big thing and it was amazing, and they don't really even talk about it, like in the recap. Like the rundown,
that's true.
That contextualizes you. It doesn't really talk about all the fallout because Thor's kind of a major, if not one of the protagonists of Infinity War / Endgame.
Yeah,
it's about failure and accepting your responsibility and redemption and stuff. And then he just leaves, and it's like he gets thin.
Yeah,
because he's not sure what he wants to do.
That's right.
I'm like, is that true? Also, I remember them talking about how they were going to fix that eye because he has a robot eye, and they were like, they're going to explain that because in this he has the same color eyes,
right?
And they just don't. Does his mother fix it in Endgame?
Oh, maybe she does.
I don't remember. I think she might just fix it. I don't know. It's been a while.
It has been a while.
In any case, Thor has an arc of his own. I think, right? Yeah,
and it's
not terribly deep.
No, it's pretty reactionary.
Yeah.
For him, but he's in a weird place. He doesn't. I guess it kind of fits him,
right?
He doesn't have an anchor. He doesn't know what he wants from life.
No.
It's a little silly.
Yeah, it is a little silly.
I didn't have an issue with that, but I definitely understand people who are looking for a little something more from Thor.
I was hoping for something, but I wasn't hoping for him to become the dude. He already had. I didn't want a kind of Flynn Tron Legacy-esque redemption where it's I'll never swing my hammer again. I don't want to see that.
Yeah.
I still want my superheroes to be superheroes and enjoy action, and he seems to. But I also wanted his arc to kind of be, I don't know, it's cool to be Thor. That's enough.
Right.
And I think it takes a back seat, of course, to Jane Foster's arc, which is actually deeper and has substance to it, even though again I think it's mostly surface level. Jane hasn't been in the movies,
right,
and she didn't want to be in the movie. Natalie Portman didn't want to be in them, clearly. And
well, I mean, in the second movie, in the second Thor, she was
woefully underused.
Yeah,
I mean, she was, but it's Natalie Portman. What are you gonna do with Natalie Portman? And nothing.
Yeah,
nothing.
Yeah,
and they have to
a MacGuffin in that movie.
She was. She straight up was. Yeah, no, and I feel that's a shame. But I also feel that they retconned a lot. Oh no, there was a whole stint where they lived together, and that's all made up. It's all just added to this movie.
Yeah,
and I was like, oh. Because I guess it would be kind of it would be a little bit extreme if Thor was straight up in love with her because they had 2 adventures together.
Yeah.
And I'm like, not really. I mean, Lois Lane fell in love with Superman by falling out
Thor,
of a window.
But you want to be real for him. And this is very out of the ordinary for him.
That's true.
To have done that. It's supposed to mean something.
Yeah. So he lived on Earth for a while in between Ragnarok and, Dark World and Ragnarok. There's a bunch of stuff that happened
between. How long it really was? It may not have been.
I assume 6 months, maybe a year.
Maybe. That's 6 months. That's not horribly long to him.
No, that's true. Yeah, which they don't really talk about. They talk about his age and his perspective on the world more in those Russo brothers movies than they ever do in this. But yeah, so they deepen their relationship so that they actually had one. And then he leaves and does his thing, and she is left by herself. And then we get the cancer plot.
Yes.
How'd you feel about the cancer plot? Because I know it's obviously it's in the comics and it's intrinsic to her being Mighty Thor, and it works in the comics. Does it work in this?
I think it does.
I think it works in this. I wish it were handled a little more seriously. Like it is serious. Everything about it is serious. But I wish they'd taken more time to like really develop it, to really sell it. Like there would have been I feel like there should have been a really powerful scene between Hemsworth and Portman in which she's like, we don't all live to be like 6,000 years old.
Right.
Like you left me there.
Yeah,
you know,
but like that's what you expect from like, I don't know, like not every person who's in that position has that type of way to like deal with it.
That's true.
And like
she's a scientist.
I felt like the way she dealt with it was like both very in keeping and very like surprising. Because like if initially it was like, I'm gonna figure this out, I can figure it out.
Right.
I can figure this out. And it's like, no, you can't.
Right.
Like, you're not gonna cure cancer.
No. Well, except that she's like, but I do know a god.
Yeah.
And it's like,
well, no, but initially she wants to solve it via science. She's like, I can do this. Like I'm me. Like, I can do this.
But I do like that she does try. Eventually, she's like, I guess I'll, like, for lack of a better term, pray to a god, and it like mirrors Gore.
Yeah.
You know, because like Gore loses his child, and despite the fact that he and she were devout and worshipped and paid homage, it didn't matter. And she prayed to her god of science, doesn't matter. And then she goes to the god that she knows personally, and he didn't help at all, but kind of did by accident.
Well, she didn't go to him necessarily.
Well, no, when she's talking to Kat Dennings, you know, they're like, are you gonna play that? Are you gonna play that card? Like, are you going to do that? And it's like, no, well, and then she looks we get like 2 pages of her looking at like Mjolnir, and then that's it. And I was like, what? I didn't really follow the leap.
She heard it.
Apparently. I know, but like, we didn't get that.
Yeah, no, we did. When she looks at the books, like there's like a wind and a whisper, I think.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay.
And so, like, she like,
I just saw her looking at it and being like, maybe Mjolnir will help me. And I'm like, well, it's broken. And I really liked how they showed what Mjolnir was, like where, like how it was shattered and then it was left there.
Yeah,
like that's fun.
Like, all right, we just kind of built this around it,
which is great. Like that's pretty fun.
Yeah, what I do like though is that when she becomes Thor,
yes,
that she basically just pretends like she's not sick anymore.
Well, I like that a lot,
and that's also, but that's why she doesn't want to have that conversation with him.
That's true,
because she's like, no, if I just do this, I'll just keep pretending.
Yes,
that I'm fine.
And I guess that does help inform her character when she is Thor, because it's very, I think her performance, or at the very least her demeanor when she is Thor, is kind of like superficial. She's kind of like, hi.
Yeah.
Like, it's kind of like, when you think about it in terms of her dying on the inside, and so she's deflecting.
She's trying to pretend.
Yeah, and I kind of dig that. Like, that's better now that I'm thinking about it. You know, in the moment, I'm kind of like, I wish there was more here.
Right, but there is something more there, because she's not only doing that, but she's also go fast. Like, she wants to do everything. She's like saving people. She's like, I'm here. I'm doing things. And it's because we are learning that there's like a time limit. This isn't working.
Right.
But I kind of appreciate that we, the audience, and Valkyrie get to like know all of this, but everyone doesn't.
That's right. That's right.
That's kind of cool.
Yeah, I agree. As far as everything else with Jane Foster's character, I mean, like, obviously making her Thor from the comics into this is a natural step. It's something that you would expect, and I think it's handled well. They didn't just make it, she picks up Mjolnir, like, or they reassemble Mjolnir, or she steals it from Shield. Like, we mirror the whole Shield sequence where he recovers Mjolnir. Like, it's just that Thor, through love, enchants Mjolnir into making her worthy. And I'm like, that's cool. That I think that's better than Mjolnir not being recoverable until she wants it. That's certainly less convenient. Though this movie does rely on itself doing most of the retconnings and conveniences.
Yeah, to make this story work.
Exactly. And that's
because they didn't set up anything with Jane Foster.
And that's like really a tragedy.
Yeah.
Is that this movie does so much to justify itself. Because I like it, and I think this movie works, but I wish it was more of a natural progression.
Yeah.
Yeah, like I would have loved it if it had ended with her, continuing to be Thor, or maybe her becoming Thor, like an entire cancer plot, I would have been okay with that. It would have been a drag.
Yes.
But like, so's Thor: The Dark World, and that movie made a lot of money.
Yeah.
Especially after Thor Ragnarok, and people being like, that was fun. That was like that was a straight up comedy, an improv comedy. And then it's like, and this one is about cancer. And it kind of still is, but not really.
But not really. They really, like, there's a lot of humor in this, and I think that's just Taika Waititi being Taika Waititi. Them realizing that a lot of people did like Ragnarok. Not everyone, but a lot of people did.
Yeah.
But also that I think they're just trying to balance out the heaviness of the cancer plot, because it's like there's a heaviness to snapping away half the universe, but that's less real.
That's fake. Yeah.
Yeah, like cancer is a real thing.
Cancer is something where it's like no one has experienced being snapped out of existence by a purple space god, but like the person to your left in the theater probably has lost someone to cancer.
Yeah, or know someone. You know what I mean? Like that is a much more tangible thing.
Yes.
And so like I think they're like, we gotta get a lot of humor in here to try to like make the moments of levity extra levity feeling. I guess. Like,
yeah, I guess so. Just to take, because it doesn't seem like whenever we get to the cancer plot, we don't stay on the cancer plot. Like we don't spend a lot of time, kind of like Jane.
Yeah, and I think that is like it. Well, she's usually leading that plot, so she's like, let's get away from this as fast.
I don't want to deal with that. Yeah. Too much Korg in this movie.
There was a lot of Korg in this movie, for sure.
And I thought we were like, there was a moment in the movie where I was like, I see why there's so much Korg.
Yes.
It's because Korg dies.
Yes.
But then Korg doesn't die.
Yeah.
So there's really no tension. Like once Korg was a face, I went, oh, like this movie has no stakes. Like, because Gore's pursuit of a space god that will grant wishes is basically just getting the Infinity Gauntlet, which is just a rock that grants wishes. Like it's the same fucking thing. And I was like, oh, that's a drag.
Yeah.
But yeah, too much Korg. I thought Korg was amazing in Ragnarok. I enjoyed him in the Infinity Saga.
Yeah.
I could have been okay with him dying in this. Instead, they make him kind of like a gay icon, which I'm like, okay.
Yeah.
All right.
You already had one.
And you know what?
Have
like
two. That's fine.
You already had one. But I guess one can be a guy.
You
That's
can
fine.
have two. I don't know. I've got no problem with that. But like they didn't really play that up either. That
no,
was the
they
other
didn't.
thing. I'm like, you didn't really play up Valkyrie.
No.
At all.
No, you cut her out.
Yeah.
Clearly, you cut her out.
And like, listen, I'm glad for Korg. I like that. I like that his culture is very different.
Oh, sure,
fun,
fine.
It's cute.
No, it's cute. It's funny. Like, and it's not from the comics, but whatever. Who cares?
Yeah,
I do like that. Like, maybe they set it up where like we're gonna put Korg out to pasture.
Yeah.
Fine.
Yeah.
You know, but yeah, Valkyrie, Tessa Thompson, again, King Valkyrie. She's fun. I like her, and I think she's a good character. I think she's a good actor. So like, I would like to have seen something with that. I thought it was set up where Thor encounters Sif. Jamie Alexander's back. Should have been Wonder Woman. She's great. And I thought that was a funny gag. You know, where she's like, I'm going to Red. He's like, oh no, you wouldn't go to, wouldn't go. Because you wouldn't have died in battle.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, well, then never mind.
Yeah.
I'm like,
no, I'm
that's
good.
funny.
No, save me.
Yeah. No, you have to save me.
Get me out of here.
I'm like, that's funny. I like that.
Yeah.
And if they wanted to set up that, like, maybe she and Valkyrie get together, I was like, even better. Now you have something for Sif to do.
Yes.
But instead, she has nothing to do.
Yeah. No, there's not a lot there. They're just like, hey, we did not forget about Sif.
Right.
That's what
like
it felt
we did the last two movies.
That's what it felt like.
The other thing is, this movie has a problem that the MCU has, which is like artificial stakes that only cosmetically fuck up the look of the universe and don't actually cause any stakes. Like Sif now has one arm. So?
Well, I mean, like, you know.
But like Thor has one eye. Not anymore. Like, so Sif maybe she'll have like a robot arm or like the Destroyer's arm or something. But I'm like, what?
You know, there is like a level of representation there as well.
Yeah, that's true.
And like, I have no problem with that. But it would require her to actually be on screen for it to be,
which she is not,
a representation.
Exactly.
Like,
no, she is. Well,
not...
she's technically on screen because we know she doesn't have an arm.
But I'm just saying, like, it's not enough.
No, it's not.
Like, I liked her as a character as well, and I like the idea of her and Valkyrie together. I think that'd be fun.
If that's even the thing, I don't even know because we don't know. All I know is Sif's in the movie for like 4 seconds, and she should be great, and I really like that character, and I wish she was in it. And you know what? If you're gonna do a Beta Ray Bill thing, then put her in that.
Oh, for sure.
But it's a waste.
Yeah, I agree.
And as a result, it's a waste of Valkyrie too, because she doesn't do anything. And you could tell there was like a real there's something there. There's a story there, you know, where she's like, I'm a warrior and I'm now wearing a suit and I'm doing the drudgery of politics and this sucks. And I'm like, that's cool. Is that going to come to a head? Absolutely not.
No, it does, because she's like, I have to go. I'm gonna go do this.
Right, but that's
why I'm gonna die in battle.
Right. But like, she doesn't learn a lesson about responsibility and how it's like you can't do that anymore. If you make your choices, you have to live with them. Blah blah blah. Like, you're either a king of this people or you're not. You know, you're either a warrior who's going to die in battle or you're not. That doesn't come up.
I would say, though, that like what she does is not irresponsible, because like for them, like she is.
Oh, that's their culture.
It's in service of her people.
Absolutely.
As well, because like the reason they're going there is to
save their children.
Save the children.
Which is the plot from Batman Returns.
Children are a huge
theme
in this.
Yeah.
For sure.
Yeah. And like, again, only I think because movies do that. Like the children theme, I'm like, oh, Batman Returns. I'm going to steal the children, put them in a little cage. The villain will look at them. You know, like,
well, at least for Gore, Gore's like, no, I'm
for him, it is about children.
I'm recreating what happened to me.
Yeah, that's cool.
Yeah,
and I think it lowers the stakes in as much as he's not destroying the world. He's not, except that like he's gonna make a wish. It's gonna fucking remake reality. So it's like, oh,
well, he's gonna get rid of all of the gods, which may or may not destroy worlds.
It's gonna change everything.
Yeah, no, but like, depending on like some planets, I'm sure it won't affect them at all.
Yeah, maybe.
Like,
but Earth it does, and that's the one that matters.
Like if the Doctor Strange, like, you know, Jason Aaron,
oh yeah,
the science planet exists, they're fine.
Right. Oh great, that's one. But yeah, I you know, that's another thing. That's like, oh. Speaking of spoilers and things that I was like, the Zeus sequence
was fine.
I think it was like, it felt like 40 minutes.
It felt like Russell Crowe was fine.
Not good.
No, he was
like, that's not what I was expecting from Zeus. No. But I also like, I don't care. I'm not like, oh man, he really fucked up Zeus. It was just more like, oh, you just let him do whatever he wanted. Like he goes, oh, these movies are bullshit. So I can make a silly voice and I can do a thing.
Yeah, it was more fun, honestly, to just look at. I'd rather have more time looking out into the crowd.
Yes.
Like that was just eye candy for those who like read the comics.
Yeah, I'm like, hey, Wakandan guy. Like, but like, is Bast here? Again, they're like, no, we're not going to show you Bast.
I don't know. Would Bast want to even be there? I don't know.
I
felt like they were trying to recreate the Jeff Goldblum moment, from Ragnarok with Russell Crowe, and I don't know if it necessarily worked. Now, it does make sense that they went there, like it's part of their quest line, essentially.
Yes, it makes sense on paper. I think you could have replaced that with anything. Mm-hmm. Like I thought that it was going to be Olympus, and instead they go to like a fake planet where all the gods go, and I'm like, that's actually somehow less fun.
But then how would we get all the gods there?
Right, but they don't even use them. No, that's the problem. Is like you could get all the gods there, and if they had done something, it would have been fun. But instead, it's just Zeus, not him.
And I know we talked in the last episode about like the actors all giving a good job, but we're trying not to be spoilery. So
so we can talk about how Russell Crowe. Like,
I didn't really want to get too much into that. It really did.
He's doing something. Like he's doing something.
I think my favorite part of that is when he quietly is talking to Thor.
Yeah,
and it gets real for a second, and maybe that's really what it is.
Yeah, it's like I do a performance.
It's a performance, and I'm doing a persona, but there really isn't enough there to really justify it.
Well, especially because then he's talking to his son later, and he's doing the same thing. So it's like, oh, okay, so this is all horse shit.
Yeah.
So it's just Russell Crowe.
We get a bit. A lot of people are going to talk about that bit.
Oh, the flicking.
Yeah,
I thought that was weird. That like. Thor has all these tattoos on his back. I know that like they wanted it to be like an Easter egg fun moment where it's like Loki because he's the Loki helmet, and I'm like, I thought that was weird that Thor would do. It didn't seem in keeping with what it felt more like the FX department went like, oh well, he's blank. I could put like a thing there and make it transparent.
I'm sure they want to do that since especially he probably got them when he was on the couch.
Right.
You know what I mean? He was at a weird point in his life.
Yeah, when he's fat.
Yeah, and he's playing video games like...
I miss my brother. Put a big thing on my back.
Yeah.
Yeah, I guess that's true. Except, like, isn't his skin supposed to be durable? Like, would a tattoo work? Can you tattoo Wolverine? Can
maybe
you tattoo Thor?
Maybe he...
Went to an Asgardian tattooist? Maybe. But yeah, the flicking scene, I was like... I mean, it was fun to see because Chris Hemsworth looks like a goddamn triangle. I was like, man, it's too bad that he's Thor. Because he could have been He-Man.
Well,
this movie, I was like,
I'm glad
like
he was Thor because that would
Thor's way better.
Yeah, successful.
Well, so yeah, exactly. No, but if they were gonna make a He-Man movie,
sure,
like, he would be a great He-Man
because he's a triangle.
Yeah. Well, and he's blonde, and he looks like He-Man. I was like, wow. But no, he looked bigger than ever, and kind of godlike.
Yeah.
And I was like, he looks like a drawing of a superhero.
Yeah.
And I thought it's rare that happens to me, where I went like, that's really cool. Like, I know you really, like, you're not supposed to do that. Like, it's like a lot of fucked up shit. But like,
maybe they touched him up a little.
I mean, probably.
And that's fine.
But I was like, wow.
Mm-hmm.
Like, wow, that's cool. I don't know. I don't want to dwell on too much, I don't want you to, wonder anything about me, but I'm just saying, like, it's cool. I was like, wow, look at him.
I enjoyed
Look at the work.
Yeah. Behold
him.
Yeah.
Yeah. That was fun.
Absolutely. No, I had no problem with it.
Yeah, no. And I like the girls, like all the Zeus harem. Like, ooh.
Yeah.
Like, okay, that's the joke.
Yes.
Speaking of jokes, the hammer sequences.
Yeah.
Where it's like the act's just like,
yeah, Stormbreaker.
Yeah, I was like, that's fun. I like this, but I thought it was gonna. I thought there was gonna be a one-sided argument where it's like Stormbreaker's open the Bifrost. He was like, okay, I'm really sorry. I like get this sequence where like Stormbreaker's not responding.
Yeah.
Like, no, like this, it's still shooting. It's like, he's like, okay, I promise. Just this sequence where it's like the boyfriend on the street with his clothes being thrown out the window.
No,
I really expected that.
I did not.
I don't want that. I'm just saying that's what I was expecting.
Right.
But I did expect something, and then but how they wrap it up. At least we get it.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, I see where you're going with this.
Right.
But that was one of the few like running gags that I actually really enjoyed, where it's like Stormbreaker's always being like, "What are you doing?"
Yeah. Hey, you trying to get Mjolnir back?
Yeah.
You.
And I was like, kind of. I really like Mjolnir. It's iconically his. But then I like how they ended it. I'm like, yeah. But anyway, yeah. So speaking of humor, I think it works most of the time. It works, but like it felt like that thing where someone who is funny recognizes the room is reacting, and so they try to be more funny.
Yeah, I get that.
And I was like, you were funny.
Mm-hmm.
You don't need to be more funny. I'm still laughing from the last joke.
Yeah.
And then the next joke isn't as funny as the last one. So now I'm like, are you as funny? Like that.
I questioned my first laugh.
Exactly. Should we talk about the Guardians?
Yeah, why not?
The whole Guardian sequence? It was cool. Felt like a Guardians movie.
Yeah.
Okay, if they want to make more Guardians movies, they can get Taika Waititi to do them.
Yeah, that's
feels
fine.
just like it.
That was pretty good.
It was. I thought it was a little long. The fight.
Yeah.
Because like there's no stakes and I don't care. So it's like it doesn't matter how cool it looks
I
or
think
it
they
is.
just wanted a bombastic.
Yeah, they did. And they got it, and it works. But like you can.
I guess it's also because they got the Guardians. Might as well put them in for as long as you can get them in there.
Right, but they're not doing anything. They're just shooting. Like they're not. It's not like they're bantering or interacting or doing something that shows
there's
they're a team.
Little bit. There's like later on when they're on the ship.
Yes, when they're on the ship.
Quite a bit.
Yeah, that was fun.
With the goats.
With the goats, which I was disappointed were from another planet and were annoying. Like I wish that they were his enchanted goats. Like it would have been great, like in the Ballad of Beta Ray Bill, where he just summons them and it's like, yeah, read a book. Like
I have these.
But that kind of thing where it's like, I happen to have these things.
Yeah.
I just never use them because I got the axe. And it's like, that would have been really cool. Instead, they're just annoying. They are funny.
Yeah.
And they scream a lot. And that's actually one of the few Korg lines. He's like, they should do scream a lot. Like,
yeah.
And I'm like, that's funny. They do.
Yep.
But it's a problem you created as the writer. So is it great? I like it would have been a great opportunity to have like a cool moment of like crazy ass enchanted goats. And be like, you know what?
I'm just impressed.
This is silly.
Put them in at
They're in the movie.
They're in the movie.
Yeah, yeah, but sometimes they're in. Like, it's okay to put them in. It's okay to not just because they're in. Like because they're not funny or interesting.
I thought I had. You know what? I left with no ill will in my heart towards those goats.
That's fair. No, it's more like I wish they had been his. I wish they weren't from some alien thing. I wish they were because then you start thinking about it and it's like, oh, like is it? Because there are in Norse mythology these enchanted ghosts that he owns. Like, so this is just coinciding with that. Like, it's just conveniently enough these guys have goats too.
If you were like a human and you saw them, you would just assume that
he had them, but actually they're from aliens. Yeah, okay, all right, that's fine. Gore's plot. What do you think?
I enjoyed it.
Yeah, I enjoyed it because he's great in it.
Mm-hmm.
But like,
what I really liked about it, and like it's not really said out loud, but I really kind of like it, is that like by the end of it, like I
he doesn't even believe in it.
Some of the silliness to to Thor and like to Zeus and all that, it's like you're like, I get it.
Right, like you should kill these fucking people.
I get where
these
Gore's
clowns.
coming from.
Yeah.
Like, like look at this.
Right, like if you ever meet a god and he acts like the characters in Thor Ragnarok, like, yeah.
You're gonna be like, no.
You're disappointed.
Yeah. But I also like that, you know, gore in this movie is very much like, by the time you get to the end of it, like if you pull on this very specific thread of like him being like, it was the God's fault, I'm like, it was your fault.
Right. Yeah.
Like you let it get to there.
Right.
Like, why would you like,
yeah,
you know, like if there's an apocalyptic, you know, event on your planet, like I don't know. It's like
is it his fault or is it yours?
It's like the Kryptonians for not listening. Like,
right. Yeah. Like it's their hubris.
But I liked that. Like the hubris was there, but like he's committed.
Right.
Like,
but and also
believes in his goals.
Yeah. But also like if you have access to a wish that can change the universe, aren't you a god? I also really hated there was a moment where we wrap it up and he's like, I'm dying.
Yeah.
He has to say it because like, no, I can't do that because I'm dying now. Like, did he know originally that it was poisoning him?
Yes.
Okay.
I think so. Yeah, because he's talking to Jane about her cancer.
Right.
And like, so he's like, yeah, like we're in the same boat. Like you're like, you and I.
Yeah, which by the way worked really well. Like the theme of
like he's got like magic cancer. She's actual cancer.
Exactly. Yeah. Well, and his is like voluntary cancer. And hers is like, yeah, I guess it's also voluntary. It's like I'm choosing to keep getting it or keeping it.
Yeah. To not let myself try to be, but it's stage 4. I don't know. It's stage
4, so I would just use the hammer all the time. But yeah, I really, I like that a lot. It's the necro sword. That's what they call it, but because like death, not because it's a symbiote.
Right.
And it's a sword that you can break. Oh well, Sony's not gonna let you have it, but like they could have. Like it would have been, you could have that, and then it would have been kind of cool if it like melted.
Yeah.
And then like slithered away. Sony wouldn't have seen it. They wouldn't have known because they don't know what they're doing.
Right.
They would have been like, "Oh, that was cool." And it's like it's a symbiote. Psh.
Yeah,
like that would have been really cool.
Right,
because like who knows what'll happen in 5 or 10 years when Null shows up? Are they gonna put Null in Carnage 2, or are they gonna, or is Sony not gonna exist anymore? And then we can just do whatever we want.
Right.
It's very nitpicky. Just complaining about the sword. It is kind of like not very interesting looking. I'm disappointed in that. It looks like a sword from like a medieval shop. It's like, oh well.
I kind of like that not every weapon has to be comically designed. It's a sleek, elegant blade.
Yeah.
Killing a god.
Right. Yeah.
Like it's unassuming, and I kind of like that.
That's fair.
Like it is an unassuming blade that can topple a god.
Yeah, that's fair. That's cool.
Like that's, I don't know. I find something there.
That's true.
Would it be my main in a game necessarily? I don't know. What are its stats?
Yeah, not great. But
ass kicking out.
Exactly. Yeah. But I wish it was a symbiote. So yeah, anything else?
What did you think about the end sequence with the kids? I've been wanting to ask you that.
Which part?
The part where he powers them.
Oh yeah. I thought that was earned. I was like, this is cute. I thought it was cute. I did not groan or roll my eyes.
The only time I rolled my eyes is when that little girl
with the bunny
didn't pick up a weapon. I was like, we're gonna do something with the bunny.
Yeah.
Like it was like,
yeah,
that I really didn't need.
No.
And I know that's my little nitpick there. It was like, that's just so like, that's the same thing. It's the joke. I'm like, we've taken it one step too far.
No, exactly. Yeah. I thought that was cute. I again, by that point, anything that might have lost me in the movie has already happened. With the notable exception being like the new status quo for Thor, but like, which I find not interesting in any way. But I know that like Hollywood loved kids for some reason. They loved to saddle a character with some fucking kids. But yeah, no, I thought the kid sequence was fine. I knew it was temporary, so I was like, this is cute.
Yeah, I actually like the actor who played Heimdall's son.
Yes.
I thought he did a good job.
He did a nice job. Yeah, he was fine.
He's fun. It was interesting too because it reminds you that they're Asgardians,
right?
But like they're not all gods.
No, it's true.
Like just kids.
We're just from here. Like, yeah. No.
Probably a little made of stronger stuff, but like we're not like you.
Right.
Yeah,
maybe we will be one day, but not now.
Right. I'm like, that's kind of cool.
Yeah, I agree with that.
But yeah, I feel like I didn't need that.
No. You could have. This movie could have actually been shorter.
Yeah.
If you just had the final confrontation be like, you don't need like droid armies. Like you could just have the villain fight the hero. How'd you like the black and white sequence?
That I love.
Yeah. I guarantee you. And it's funny, every time they do anything interesting, I always have this thought in my head where I'm like, they had to fight for this.
Yeah.
I promise you they'd fight for this. And it was cool. Like, it was because this movie is very bright and colorful. And like, so having an entire sequence of black and white, like having them shoot this movie and like clearly just change the contrast, but like it's black and white and have a whole sequence in a theater, massive, with people in it looking at this black and white comic book movie, and then to cut to eventually get color. I was like, this is cool. Like, it was a really cool effect. It really worked.
Yeah, and obviously we do a joke where the planet is closer than they think. It's
it's Rick and Morty.
Yeah,
it's Tiny World. I was like, I saw that joke 5 years ago.
But I said when we saw it, because afterward we were chatting about it, that like it to me seemed like a cinematic homage to like the original silent films.
Yes, it was like the Trip to the Moon.
Yeah, where it's like, it's a comically
you could hit the moon.
Yeah. Like the proportions don't quite work, and that felt what it was.
Yes.
Kind of.
Yeah. No, I think you're right. I think it was trying to be that, and it's like that's fun.
Yeah.
When you think of it like that.
Yeah, and then it transitions into like more action oriented.
Yeah.
It is interesting though, like once the color's out of the movie, I don't know, there's just something that you pay more attention to you
pay more attention to what's happening.
Yeah. Like, and I'm not saying I want all my movies in black and white, but I did happen to notice like that action sequence hit differently.
It did. Well, also there were no cartoon characters in it. Like, it was just human beings all interacting with each other, which I really was like, hey.
Yeah, they fought monsters in it though.
No, that's true.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, that's right.
Yeah, Gore was there, but they all
the interactions is really
Yeah. Because that's like, is that where Gore talks to Jane?
Yes.
Yeah. I also like that when we go like inside and she's able to use the hammer to make light, like a little color.
Yeah, you see a little color. Like, there is color. It's like, that's cool. Yeah, it's a good effect. It worked.
Or
it
that
really
like
well.
It was the light of Mjolnir that like brought color. Like, is it like they're saying color was too afraid to be there?
Yes. Yeah. No,
like, it was just a really cool effect.
I agree.
I honestly enjoyed that quite a bit.
Yeah.
I liked, it's really stupid, and maybe this is just the girl in me. I like Valkyrie's Pegasus. I loved Jane Foster riding in on it because I'd forgotten it, because they mentioned that like the things that could travel were these things. Pegasus wasn't fast enough and couldn't hold everybody.
Yeah.
But like with just Natalie Portman on, I totally forgot about it. So when she rides in at the end, I was like, oh, right.
Yeah, that's cool. No, that was cool. Yeah, I agree. And I thought the sequence in which she dies was good.
Me too.
I was like, hey, way to go. Nice stuff.
Yeah.
Good stuff. Also, it was cool to see eternity.
Right?
Eternity should be the whole universe. It should be bigger, but whatever.
Well, it's sized to,
to whatever
whoever finds it.
Sure. Yeah. But that was cool to see eternity and just be the drawing of eternity. That was fun.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I thought it was interesting. They did the water thing, which because we're watching Stranger Things, I made think of that. And then I was like, wait, it's also from
Infinity War.
Yeah.
Like, it's Thanos. Yeah. It's when you deal with the Soul Stone.
Yeah.
So it's like, that's just the aesthetic of this universe. When you're dealing with ethereal planes, the ground is water.
Yeah.
Or something.
I'm not going to lie. I thought the wish he was going to make wasn't just going to be about the kid. I thought it was going to be about saving Jane as well, so that she could be like a mother.
Yeah.
But no. I was like, wow.
Well, I thought Thor was going to get a wish.
He wasn't the first one.
I know, but I thought it was just going to be like, fuck it. Who cares?
And you too.
Yeah.
And what do you want, God boy?
Right? Yeah. Oh, well.
That said, we go to Valhalla.
Yeah. And she's there, and so's Heimdall. I like that.
Yeah. I was like, hey.
Hey, remember you? So is Thor gonna come? Is Jane gonna come back? I love how people were like, oh, of course they're gonna replace Thor, and she fucking dies. She's Thor in this movie and then dies.
Yeah.
Damn it. Because I was kind of like, I like her,
yeah.
but there was also this thought in my mind after she died. I was like, right, Natalie Portman like doesn't want to be in these movies.
Yeah. She's like, I want to do something fun.
She's like, I don't want to be on the Avengers. If I was, I'd be in any of them, and I'm not in any of the Avengers movies. Like, if I wanted to be on the Avengers, I would have shown up at any point, and I'm not.
Yeah.
Like, she doesn't want to do that.
No, that's fair. So she could though, but maybe not.
Yeah, but it's also like she's a feminist icon as Thor.
Yeah.
It's a shame you killed her after you introduced her. But hey, we got Gore's daughter.
Maybe they'll have it she'll come back, but she'll be different.
Yeah. Yeah, after she goes through the veil and she becomes another actor that's a little younger. So how do you feel about Thor having a adopted daughter?
It gives him purpose, because I know he was
looking for it.
He was lost, and like I think that if they do anything more with him, or if there's another Thor movie, that they'll be like, oh, she's
somewhere else
training with
as
Sif,
Guardian
or
School or at the planet. Yeah,
something like that.
I didn't find that interesting at all. I
didn't really think much about it beyond like just the movie it was in.
That's
I was like,
it works like in this movie, but as a like regular, as a member of the MCU, as a thing, I was like, that is not where I want this to go.
That's fair.
And I don't think that they thought about it
right
past what they're doing, so they're like,
I think
we're gonna have to write this out.
Right. I think for me it's that, like, listen, Chris Hemsworth may never make another Thor movie.
Right.
So
he said, although he did say, I should say, he did have, he said, I'll be in as many as they ask me to come back.
Sure. And like for me, like all I hope is that putting the daughter in there doesn't shut us off from things like bringing in a Beta Ray Bill.
Yeah.
Like to introducing the Corbinites.
Right? Like, I really want a Beta Ray Bill. I think you could get a Beta Ray Bill movie.
You have to totally change the story.
Now you have to change the whole fucking story.
But, if he then wanted to leave, you could have Beta Ray Bill be your sub, I suppose, if Natalie Portman doesn't want to do it.
Right, because you just introduced a replacement for Thor that actually works and it's from the comic books, and you killed her.
Right, but again, maybe because
Natalie Portman.
Right, or I don't know. The Valhalla thing, I don't know if that was just the little,
and
like,
what is that? Yeah, that post-credit scene of Valhalla.
I don't know if that was just the like, hey, no, just to confirm, yes, she did.
Right.
She did go to Valhalla.
She is dead, but she went to Valhalla.
Yeah.
That's her resolution. I didn't get that. I
mean, to be fair, she died out of battle. I'm just saying.
I know, right? She died like in the same situation that Sif did. So what the fuck? But
no, they were still in danger. They're still technically still battling with wits,
sure,
with gore.
But I do, that sequence where she's like, like it didn't have the air of finality that I think they either wanted it to, or maybe they didn't, and they want us to think like that the door's open. But like, I don't know. I was like, what is this? I was like, it's kind of closure, but is it? Like when we see it, I'm like, closure. But then it like doesn't really end with closure. And also you're thinking like, but there's also like dozens and dozens of Jane Foster Thor stories that they could do. And why did they close it off so quickly?
Right.
But I mean, Gore's in this movie for like 1 minute and dies. So like whatever. So, it's not like they're against doing that.
Maybe Christian Bale was like, I'm not going to play Gore again.
Oh no. He had a quote where he was like, I keep hearing that I'm in like the MCU. I'm not in anything. I'm in this movie and that's it. And I'm like,
I did a movie.
Yeah, I made a film.
The last franchise I did was Batman. I'm out.
Yeah, they offered me a lot of money to come back to be Batman, and I didn't take it. And I'm a crazy person. So yeah.
I got one last question.
Go ahead.
What did you think about the Korg narration?
Oh, I could have done without it.
Yeah,
big time.
Okay.
I thought it was cute. In the beginning?
I liked it at the beginning, especially when they did the Loki. That's obviously they knew that was going to hit. That was funny.
Yeah, I thought that was funny. But like, I could have done without it anymore. because I think I'm done with Korg.
I think it's supposed to be like, was it Lewis from Ant-Man?
Yes.
Like, or Luis?
They want it to be like that. And I'm like, but that's not that.
No, that was very specific.
And he's better.
He's very good at it. Very good at it.
But Korg's fine. He's wholly innocuous, but also like I've reached my limit on Korg being hilarious.
That's fair.
Especially because like again, it's trying too hard. It's not enough. Like, Korg worked because it was like set against like this big it's like, oh yeah, like we're in a gladiatorial arena and he's like, oh yeah, what's up? Like that's fun.
Yeah.
Or Korg like being on the couch.
Yeah.
That's fun. But like
being given a hard time by children.
Yeah, by children of Earth.
That's funny. Hey, shout out to Meek showing up for like a hot second.
I know.
I was like, wow, Meek.
Yeah, what? And he's bigger. I'm like, okay. Yeah, Meek's the note taker. I'm like, okay.
He does the minutes.
Yeah. That's fine. At least they didn't overdo it. I'm shocked.
No, Meek's just like, hey, I'm alive.
I'm alive and I'm in it. Yeah. Okay.
And Thor left me here, so
I can't go anywhere.
To work.
Exactly. Yeah, that was fine. It was all fine. Like the movie itself, like overall, I think there is a movie here that works.
What did you think of the play?
It's enough. Like that's the thing is that it's like it's this and then this and then it's like layers and layers of like, it's like this, it's do you like me yet? And I'm like, it's Thor 4 for fuck's sake. We like you, man.
Now see what I like about that though is again that I chalk up to some world building because they're like, look what happened to Asgard.
Yeah,
it is a tourist destination and it's not just about warriors anymore. Like they have like people coming from all over just to sit and watch bad plays and like pay money to come see it. It's like that's and like to use flying ships as like rides.
Yeah, like that sucks.
This is what we're doing. We used to be a great warrior race.
Yeah.
And like now,
and now we're a fucking Disney World. We're a Six Flags.
Which I think is why everyone pours into the streets. I mean, obviously it's just who they are to battle.
Right.
Because they're just like,
please.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, I want to be what I'm supposed to be.
Well, think about it for them too. If their whole culture surrounds around the idea of dying in battle and what you're doing every day is this,
it's not
like I kind of like the more I think about that and like think about it less for the laughs and more about setting up the status quo for these people. It's like, ouch.
Yeah, no, I agree.
Ooh.
But like that, and that is, I think, a problem with the MCU overall is they're like, we need to make it feel like it has stakes. And it's like, you destroyed Asgard.
Yeah.
You have no place to go now. Like you could have a Ragnarok, but you called your last movie Ragnarok. You know, like you could set up the Straczynski era where like Thor rebuilds, like Asgard returns and it's floating over Broxton, Oklahoma. Like that'd be kind of cool, you know, instead of it being like sad.
Yeah.
You know, it'd be actually kind of neat to be like, it's the floating city and like everyone's dead and I'm going to return them all. And like, maybe I'll return them in different bodies. So like, you know, Fandral and Volstagg can come back and they're not like randos. They're not actors who would want more money. So now they're fun character actors that you're happy to be in like random, you know, MCU appearances. Like something like that, you know, but that's the problem is like this movie is a movie that works on its own and it is its own thing. And it does feel like a separate Marvel Cinematic Universe movie, which I do appreciate. And it's like, hey, good. Like, you know what? Let's make some like sequels to the movie franchise that we're in.
Yeah.
It's like, good. But it also reminds me of how far we're straying from Marvel.
Yeah.
Like from the comics and from like what makes people like it.
Right.
And like, it's so frustrating to watch people who are like either uncreative or to watch people who are really good at making this try to do that. Where they go like, well, you know, I made something. Here's my idea.
Right.
And it's so vastly uninteresting compared to like what Jack Kirby or Stan Lee came up with. Like there's literally there's like a century worth of stories that you could draw from that are different status quos. And you're going to come up with something on your own. Like, what else did you write or create? Like, is it anything enduring, or was it like? They
don't have to pay anything to anybody,
right? But like most of them are dead.
Yeah, well, but they have estates,
right? Yeah, I'm just.
No, I get you.
It sucks.
I do get you. I absolutely do. I do think though that like this movie is a sort of turn your brain off, even though there's definitely some heavy moments in it.
But even then, the heavy moments are like the most like surface level kind of stuff.
Yeah, heavy
it's
moments
like,
for
oh
MCU.
No, she's dying of cancer. What kind of cancer?
Yeah, no, I think in terms of like,
you know, the big one.
Yeah, the stage 4 kind.
Yeah, the kind you don't get better from.
But like, you know, like if you like those kind of things, or it's just like, you know what, it is a summer movie.
Yes.
Then you might just enjoy this. You know,
and it is like just it's another Thor movie. It's not a commercial for another movie.
Nope.
It is very much.
And it's like about Thor.
It's about Thor. Yeah. And it's not one of those like, we're getting rid of Thor, you better get used to the new status quo. Kind of like the Hawkeye show was, which I enjoyed a lot and was very happy to have because I like Kate Bishop a lot. So I'm happy to have her replace Jeremy Renner. Like, we're good. If Jeremy Renner doesn't want to come back ever again, I'm okay with her. But, you know, I think people were like, no, they're bringing in Natalie Portman Thor. I'm like, Natalie Portman is like as old as Chris Hemsworth. Like, she's not gonna be like the new spring chicken that's gonna be like on for 20 years. Like,
well, but maybe then also we need to stop worrying about the age of actors.
Oh no, I agree.
And like not having to worry about that, like everyone has to be super.
Well, Iron Man was like 50. You know?
Yeah.
No, I'm like,
but again, it's different for guys.
I agree, but I also was like, no, but Natalie Portman still looks great. Like and it's just need to look great. I'm just saying, like, she's good. She's good regardless of how old she is.
It's whether or not they're interested in continuing with the role. That's really what it is. You just have to find actors who are interested in continuing with the role that they're in.
Yeah, and the reality is, like, they're not gonna make you do. You know, I mean, have you seen the leaks of those the Disney Marvel cruise movies that they've been shooting, where it's like the Avengers are there. It's the Avengers. It's you know, it's Captain Marvel and Ms. Marvel and Sam Wilson, Captain America, and Ant-Man, and like they're all in this movie where they fight Ultron on like a cruise ship. And it's Paul Rudd and it's like Brie Larson. And I'm like, ugh.
Well, you know what though? For some of them, they just want to have fun.
Right. Some of them are happy to cash the check.
Well, it's not just that, but like the people they work with, they like what they do for a living, so they're fine with it. This wasn't my favorite MCU movie at all. 10. But like I had fun with it.
I had fun with it too.
I was like, I had a good time.
Yeah, I had fun with it, and I think it's fine.
And it wasn't trying to like be like, I'm gonna set up the status quo for the MCU.
No.
It's just here's the movie.
Yeah.
The last one we saw, I felt like they were trying to do that.
Yes.
And I was like, that's not, you needed to make a character movie.
Yeah.
Thor said several character movies and other characters don't get that opportunity. Yeah. So even if you're not a fan of Ragnarok, at least know that like, listen, this was a Thor movie.
Yeah. Yeah. But the Doctor Strange sequence in Ragnarok is better than most of the scenes in this movie.
Yeah, that's fair. That's fair.
In terms of like lighting, shot composition, scenery, dialogue.
There were definitely some shots in this. I was like, wow, that's pretty. That was good.
Yeah, there are a couple of shots in this movie that look like film. Where I was like, we're in a movie.
Yeah.
And then the other shots in this movie where I'm like, that's cheap.
I agree.
And it's like your $600 million movie should not look cheap.
As much as I like the black and white world.
Yeah.
When they're like attacked, like the tentacle, like whatever
it is. Oh my God, I don't know why.
It didn't look great.
It did not look great.
It didn't look great.
And it should have looked great because like the black and white version of The Mist looks
better. Looks better.
Looks better. And that looks really bad.
Yeah.
So yeah, I don't know. It's also the fact that it's called Love and Thunder because he has a child now. And she's love and he's thunder, or which one is it? I don't give a shit. I'm like, really? Like, no, you came up with a name first, and then you tied it in. That's not this. But yeah, No,
they could have not, because that's all they may not have had that name then.
Yeah, that's true.
They might have, you know what I mean? Because Korg narrates that. They could have done that at any point in time.
That's true. Yeah.
Like that's an end narration. You could have reshot that like weeks before they released it.
Well, it didn't feel earned, but
it's fair.
Yeah, it's fine. It's a fine movie. It's well made for the most part. And again, like Waititi gets some good performances out of a lot of people.
Yeah, well, it's clear that like no one hates working on this necessarily. Right. Like they're just like, all right, let's do it. Like I know I'm not performing Shakespeare here, but like let's do it.
Yeah, I agree. I would like that though. Like maybe someone who really wants to make that can make the Beta Ray Bill movie.
There you go.
No one will go see. Oh, Hercules is in the movie too.
Yeah, we didn't talk about that. Roy Kent.
He's here. He's there. He's every fucking where. It's Roy Kent. He's great, and I'm like, oh my God, he's Hercules. Good luck.
Good for him. Well, if you're not familiar now,
what a weird fucking
Ted Lasso.
Ted Lasso.
He's in other things too, but he's also
he's
Roy
Kent and Ted Lasso, and he's great. But him being Hercules, I'm like, okay, good luck. Yeah, we got fucking Star Fox, Pip the Troll, and Hercules. Are they going to be in any future movies?
Really?
Who's to say?
Really setting up something.
Something? Yeah.
Something.
Like what? What are you setting up? Nothing. They're just like, how about this?
Maybe we're doing something spacey.
For a change. So let's recommend some comics that are coming out this week that we think you should pick up. Any other thoughts?
No, I was just,
all right, but yeah, Roy Kent, Hercules.
Space. There's 2 different teams that they haven't introduced yet who have ties to space.
Yes. And we haven't even introduced the fucking X-Men yet.
That's what I'm talking about.
I know.
I'm talking about the X-Men and the Fantastic Four. They're 2 teams.
Yeah. Oh, I'm sorry. I thought you were talking about like the Starjammers.
No. No.
And like the real Guardians of the Galaxy.
I'm talking literally about you have like
the Ravagers.
The 2 groups that people want to see the most, both are tied intrinsically to space.
Yes.
I just think that's interesting.
That's true. So let's recommend some comics that are coming out this week.
That.
We think you should check out. For some reason, they're re-releasing the first issue of Daredevil from Zdarsky and Chichetto. If you have missed it, you should check it out. It's great. More importantly, The Punisher #4 from Jason Aaron is out. This series is freaking fire. I remember the beginning, first issue, people were like, boo, I can't believe this first issue. Everybody shut up. Shut everybody right the hell up. And each subsequent issue makes more people shut up about how great this, or about how not great this book was going to be.
Isn't that what comics is all about?
Yeah, shutting the fuck up for a minute. AXE, Eve of Judgment. I don't know what the fuck that is. If it's like it's written by Kieran Gillen.
Yeah. So it's probably like a
prelude to the Judgment Day event. Maybe I'll read it, maybe I won't. But Dark Crisis, World Without a Justice League, Superman #1 is coming out. This is Tom King's Superman on an Elseworld by himself, no other superheroes, getting everything he ever wanted. What did he want? To spend to watch his son grow up. So he is paired with John, who is the first sidekick.
Oh.
And so Superman is subconsciously
That's so
inspired
sad.
by Dick Grayson's outfit. So John wears a Robin suit.
Oh.
Yeah.
That's cute.
So on board. Also, Williamson's Rogues from Black Label is coming out.
Hey, the Black Label books are coming back out again.
Hey, finally. What the hell took them so long? This is a great series, and I think you should check it out.
Oh, me. Okay, cool. Moon Knight number 13 is coming out. I thought that issue 12 wrapped up kind of weirdly, so hopefully 13 will be a little bit of a stronger footing. I feel like this just came out a couple weeks ago, but we're here.
Yeah.
Wolverine number 23 is coming out. We just had a Wolverine book, but I'm really enjoying this quite a bit. All I want to know
is if Kubert's drawing it
if
still.
If there's still a Kubert on it, because it does not look like that at the top there. Oh, it is. It is cool. It's Ben Percy and Adam Kubert. Just really knocking it out of the park there.
Yeah.
Like just Deadpool, Wolverine, ridiculousness ensues. New Mutants number 27 is coming out. That just also recently came out maybe a couple weeks ago. That's the, we're dealing with magic and whatchamacallit, limbo and all that. So it's that sort of fantasy style thing, but not really. Like there's like there's also a fantasy element there. Unlike in Knights of X. Very different though.
Very different.
Very different. Immortal X-Men number 4. I think a lot of people are going to pick this up for the cover alone.
Probably.
I truly believe that. This is Kieran Gillen?
Yeah.
Yes, Kieran Gillen as well. Yeah, I think a lot of folk are going to be picking up this cover. Is this Dowderman?
Oh, the cover?
Are you on the cover? No, it's Mark Brooks. That's who it is. I'm like, wait, it's a very specific style.
Oh, yes.
It's a very sexy Emma Frost there. It's a gorgeous cover, honestly.
As opposed to all the other times Emma Frost on the cover.
I'm just saying, like, it's very out of order.
It's
you usually
evocative.
see her in white.
Yeah.
She's robed in red. It's kind of beautiful. Marauders number 4 is coming out. This is continuing the adventures in the Shi'ar Empire. Xandra is dead, but not. But it's cool. Don't worry, we're gonna fix that. X-Men Hellfire Gala number 1. Here we go, guys. Setting up the new everything, I suppose.
Yeah, I'll bet the Spider-Man book will tie into this a little bit.
We'll see. I'm not like jazzed. Like the first Hellfire Gala, I was super excited. It was such an innovative idea. Like costumes were coming out. It was fun.
Yeah, this is just shh.
It was really like taking all the stories that were going on, kind of like some of them coming to a close, bringing them like to their end.
Yeah.
But like through lines going through, and it was really just for those who are reading X-Men. I don't know what to expect from this.
No.
And I hope for good things. I am going to recommend AXE Eve of Judgment number 1, and I am going to read that.
Well, it's Kieran Gillen, of course.
For sure.
And you read all of Eternals, so yeah.
I did, and I liked it quite a bit, honestly. 8 Billion Genies number 3, that also just came out a couple weeks ago.
It did.
I still liked it.
Yeah, it's still good.
Number 2.
I've read the second issue.
So I'm gonna grab that for sure.
Oh, Savage Avengers number 3 is coming out as well. So you can get more Savage Avengers.
Absolutely.
See what they're doing with Conan and what happened.
It's probably going to be the end of Conan.
I bet it is.
Since we've had the last King Conan issue came out, and we're filming this, so I haven't read it yet.
No,
because that hasn't come out yet.
But I'll bet you liked it.
I bet I did too. And I'm sure there's many more issues of comics that are coming out, but that's quite a bit.
Those are the ones that we recommend.
But yeah, and it's a lot of X stuff.
Yeah,
but like I said, they were trying to do some catch up.
Yep.
From some delays, because we definitely had a few weeks like a month or so ago where there was nothing coming out.
Oh, that's right. And then it's the end of the Reckoning War. Fantastic Four number 45 is coming. This is the epilogue, and I think it might be one of the last issues of Dan Slott's run. David Peppo is going to do a 2-part Fantastic Four story that I'm very excited to read.
Oh, see,
so
are they doing the palette cleanser like I talked about for Batman, where it's instead of just launching into a new writer, do a palette cleanser and then bring in the new permanent writer?
That's right. Yeah.
Excellent.
So, we want to thank you so much for hanging out with us. And of course, we'll see you guys next week with a live episode of Off the Rack. We want to thank you so much for indulging us on this spoiler-filled breakdown of Thor, Love and Thunder and recommending some comics for you. Don't forget to follow Tiffany on twitch.tv/ComicPop and subscribe to here at ComicPop Returns on YouTube. And of course, youtube.com/ComicPop. Comic books. But don't forget to subscribe, and we'll see you guys next time with an all-new episode. That's it for us. So long, everybody.
Bye.